Anin bojo kanawia, Mr. McLeod Mondayamina, Bajinaka Queen Monim. I just want to let you guys know that links to the dictionary, PDFs to the worksheet, audio files are in links in the description of this video, as well as any other resources that'll help you out with this lesson will eventually be there as soon as I'm done making them. Ahau miigwech.
Anin bojo, Mr. McLeod Mondaya. And so today's lesson is on velar consonant noun suffixes. So that's when we add ng to the end of our nouns or words. So these are our locatives and similatives in Ojibwe. So what are nouns? Nouns are a person, place, thing, or idea. Some might say quality. We have two classes of nouns in Ojibwe, animate and inanimate. Today's lesson, we'll examine both classes of nouns, and we learn how to attach our velar consonant suffixes to them. So how do we tell if a noun is animate or inanimate? So please write down everything on this slide in your notes. So to tell if a noun in Ojibwe is inanimate, the plural suffix has to end in an N sound. For example, an, mzinignan for books, ninjin for hands, kwakwadon for balls. To tell if a noun in Ojibwe is animate, its plural suffix has to end in a G or K sound. So for example, debateg, pies, zesbig, ropes, kikog, cooking pots, bibisug, babies, and kwewag, women. We'll pause here to let you write down both points for your notes before moving on. Alright, let's move on. So what does it mean when a noun ends in a velar consonant? So in Ojibwe, our nouns sometimes have suffixes that use signature sounds to signal if they're diminutive, that's the nasal sound ending, pejorative, it's future lesson, and locative/similitive. So nouns that end with a velar consonant suffix express that the noun is a locative or is related characteristically to another noun. So locatives are a noun where a verb is taking place. So for example, the man is eating at the table. So here the table is a locative, it's where the man is eating. So what is taking place at the table? Our noun is doing an action there. The man is eating. So here I've indicated the point for you to write down for your notes. We'll stop here to give you a chance to pause the video and write this down. Alright, let's move on. So, expressing relational characteristics is also used with our velar consonant suffixes. This is called the similative. When you want to say it looks like a bird or they smell like a dog, we are expressing that two nouns share relatable characteristics. So please record this all in your notes from this slide before moving on. Alright, let's move on. So what is a velar consonant? So if you look back at our sound chart, velar consonants are almost any vowel sound followed by an ng sound. So we have ang, ung, aang, ong, eng, our last airbender, ang, ing, ing, iing, ing, ong, ung, and oong, ong. So what does it mean when a noun is changed into a locative? So the word locative comes from the word location. In Ojibwe, when we turn a noun into a locative, we are turning it into a place where something is happening. For example, Kwezesh ja shkwandaming, This means that the girl is going to the door. Shquandem by itself is door, but with the added velar consonant, it's now a place where it's now a location where the girl is going to. So here I've indicated the points for you to write down for your notes. Pause the video and write these down, please. All right, let's move on. So how Ojibwe illustrates relational characteristics. So we also use our velar consonant suffix to express that our nouns have relatable characteristics to other nouns. This is called the similitive because they are similar. This is when we want to say it looks, sounds, smells, or tastes like another noun. So for example, Shquandem Nishnaabemwin. This example means the door looks like a tree. Mtig by itself means tree, but with the added velar consonant suffix, it expresses that the tree has relatable characteristic, looks or visuals, to the door. And so here I've indicated the point to write down for your notes. Please pause the video here and record these in your notes. All right, let's move on. So what are all of our locative or simulative suffixes? So please write down all of the points from this slide in your notes. So we have 5 locative or simulative suffixes. We have ing, ing, our most popular example, ng, aang, iing, and ong. So velar consonant suffix hierarchy. These are the order to which you know which suffix to apply to each noun. So please write down all the points from this slide, please. So for applying our velar consonant suffixes, we should follow this order of thinking. Ask yourself these questions in this order. So rule number 1, does the noun end with a consonant and doesn't have a suffix connector? Rule number 2, does the noun end in a short I or short A or long vowel sounds? Rule number 3, does the noun have a Y suffix connector? Rule 4, does the noun end in a nasal sound? And lastly, does the noun have a capital W or lowercase w suffix connector? Again, we'll give you a chance to write all these rules down in your notes. Please pause the video here and resume when you're done writing. All right, let's move on. So which nouns go with which rules? So we have all of our rules listed here, and we have a list of nouns here. So the first one, we want our noun daban. So daban ends in a consonant sound and also doesn't have a suffix connector as indicated right here. So if a noun ends with a consonant sound and doesn't have a suffix connector, that aligns with rule number 1. Next one, nouns that end in short I, short A, or long vowel sounds. So we're looking for nouns that end in short I, short A, or long vowel sounds. So the first one we have, nene, ends with a short I sound. The next one, nka, ends with a short A sound. And lastly, we're looking for one that ends in a long vowel sound. And that's debote. That E is a long vowel sound. So all 3 of these examples would follow the second rule. Next are nouns that have a Y suffix connector. So we're looking for ones that have a Y suffix connector. Like the example sub has a Y suffix connector. Next are our nouns that end in a nasal sound. We have an example here, gigon has a nasal suffix, or has a nasal ending, as indicated here. And lastly are nouns that have W suffix connectors. And so those are our examples. Mong has a capital W suffix connector, and ondig, which has a lowercase w suffix connector, as indicated there. So these are the nouns that go with each rule. And so remember to ask yourself the rules in this order before knowing which suffix to add to which noun. So nouns that end in consonants and don't have suffix connectors. So for those, simply add ing to it. Don't forget to apply our second last consonant rule because our suffix starts with a vowel sound. So we have two examples here, despawagan for our inanimate and daban for our animate example. So damnawagan janagwat despawagning means the toy looks like a chair. Damnawagan gimgasin despawagning, the toy fell on the chair. Damnawagan janagwat dabaning, the toy looks like a car. Damnawagan te dabaning, the toy is located in the car. And so for your notes, I've indicated which points to write down. Please pause the video here. All right, let's move on. Rule number 2, part 1, nouns that end in short I. So replace the short I with a double ing. So our examples are ki, which means land, earth, or ground. And our animate example is ninne, man. So damnawagan janagwat king, the toy looks like the earth. Damnawagan gimgasing king, the toy fell on the ground. Damnawagan janagwat nining, the toy looks like a man. Damnawagan ten nining, the toy is located on the man. So again, for your notes, I've indicated the point to write down. Please pause the video and write these down in your notes before moving on. All right, let's move on. Nouns that end in short A sounds, part 2. So replace the short A with a double A-N-G suffix. So our examples, the inanimate one is odena, town, and our animate examples in ka, goose. So damnawag nun janagwadon odenong, the toys look like a town. Damnawagan gimgasing odenong, the toy fell in town. Damnawagan janagwat kong, the toy looks like a goose. Damnawagan tet and kong, the toy is located on the goose. So again, please write down the points in your notes before moving on. All right, let's move on. All right, so nouns that end in long vowel sounds, part 3. So add ng to the end of your long vowel sound. So our inanimate example is kakshe, which means coal. And our animate example is debate, which means pie. Sin janagwat kakjang, the rock looks like a coal. Mshite kakjang, the wood is located on the coal. We're talking about one piece of wood here. Mijim jamagwat debateng, the food smells like pie. Kada kontewan debateng, the carrots are located in the pie. So please record this in your notes before moving on. We'll pause here. All right, let's move on. So rule number 3, nouns that have a Y suffix connector. So replace the Y with an IING suffix. So our inanimate example is ninj, which means hand. Animate example is sub, which means net. As indicated here, it has a Y suffix connector here for both of them. So Dumnawagan Janagwat Ninjing, the toy looks like a hand. Dumnawagan Gimgasin Ninjing, the toy fell on the hand. Dumnawagan Janagwat Sabing, the toy looks like a net. Dumnawagan Te Sabing, the toy is located in the net. So again, I've indicated the notes for you to write down in your notes. Please write these down before moving on. Alright, let's move on. Alright, so rule number 4, nouns that end in nasal sounds. So you're going to replace the H with a Y-I-N-G, ying. Couldn't think of any inanimate examples for this, but our animate is gigon, which means fish. So, mi jim janagwat gigon ying, the food looks like fish. Jiutagan te gigon ying, the salt is located on the fish. So again here, write these down in your notes before moving on. Alright, let's move on. Rule number 5, part 1, nouns that have a suffix connector, capital W. So you're going to replace the capital W with an ONG. Our inanimate examples are pequawquid, and the animate is mose. So pequawquid means ball, mose means moose, and as indicated here, they both have capital W suffix connectors. So we're going to replace those W's with ONG. So Dumnawagan Janagwat Pequawquidung, the toy looks like a ball. Dumnawagan Gimgasin Pequawquidung, the toy fell on the ball. Mi Jim Pegwed Mozung, the food tastes like moose. Dumnawagan Gimgasin Mozung, the toy fell on the moose. And again, I've indicated the point to write down for your notes. Please write this down before moving on. Alright, let's move on. Rule number 5, part 2. So these are for the lowercase w suffix connectors. So you're going to replace the suffix connector, lowercase w, with ONG. I couldn't think of any inanimate examples, but our animate example is ondeg, which has a lowercase w suffix connector right here. So Pokemon Jinogze Ondegung. The Pokemon looks like a crow. What Pokemon looks like a crow? Corviknight is one of the examples. Comment down below if you got Corviknight right. I still won't believe you. Dumnawagan Gimgasin Ondegung. The toy fell on the crow. And so here I've indicated the point to write down for your notes. Please write this down before moving on. Alright, let's move on. So when do we use the locative suffix aang? Sometimes there are just exceptions to the rules I can't explain. Mshkimud is a noun that means bag. Its locative and simulative version is mshkimdong. Don't know where that double ang came from. Bugwayan Janagwat mshkimdong. The shirt looks like a bag. From those darn TikToks. Mi jim te mshkimdong. The food is located in the bag. So here I've indicated the points for you to write down in your notes. Please write these down before moving on. Alright, let's move on. So when do we use the locative suffix ong as well? When a noun has a gamic ending, we drop the I sound because of our second last consonant rule and change the K to a G sound and then attach ong at the end of our noun. So for example, dawe gamik means store. Its locative or simulative version is dawe gamgung. So wigwam janagwet dawe gamgung. The house looks like a store. Mijem ted dawe gamgung. The food is located in the store. So I've indicated the points for you to write down for your notes. Please write these down before moving on. All right, let's move on. So locative suffix ing position in our noun suffix order. So please write down all the points from this slide in your notes. So the locative suffix is our fourth suffix in our noun suffix order. This means when we stack our noun suffixes, our locative or simulative suffix will appear at the very end of our nouns after the diminutive, pejorative, and plural suffixes, and will appear as ing. All right, please write these down before moving on. I'll give you a chance to pause the video. All right, let's move on. So recap. We can use our velar consonant suffix to change our nouns to a locative or communicate two nouns share a common characteristic, simulative. A locative is a noun where a verb is taking place. Our locative suffixes are ng, aang, ong, iing, and ing. Mia aja, that's it for now. Migoch besindueg nongum. Thank you all for listening to me today.